Have you ever believed that women earn less purely because of discrimination, or that the rich are getting richer while the poor are trapped forever? One of the first fallacies Sowell tackles is the gender wage gap. It's often claimed that women earn less than men simply because of workplace discrimination. However, Sowell shows that this is an oversimplification. When researchers control for factors like job type, education, hours worked, and years of experience, the wage gap narrows significantly. For example, unmarried women in their 30s with no children often earn as much or more than their male counterparts. Sowell's point is not that discrimination doesn't exist, but that assuming it is the sole or primary reason for wage differences ignores how personal choices and life circumstances influence income. He emphasizes that economic disparities often stem from different decisions, not necessarily injustice. Next, Sowell explores urban economic myths, especially around housing and poverty. In cities like San Francisco or New York, high housing costs and homelessness are frequently blamed on market failure or greed. But Sowell reveals that many of these problems are created by government policies such as rent control, restrictive zoning laws, and building regulations. These policies reduce the supply of housing, driving up prices, and making affordable living nearly impossible. Ironically, the very regulations intended to protect low-income residents often push them out. This insight is especially important for students planning to live or work in big cities. You must understand the economic forces behind cost of living. Sowell then tackles racial economic fallacies. It's common to hear that differences in income and employment between racial groups are proof of systemic racism. However, Sowell argues that disparities in outcomes do not automatically mean discrimination. He brings in historical and cultural context to show how differences in family structure, education, language proficiency, and even average age can all contribute to income differences. For instance, groups with a higher percentage of young people will naturally have lower average incomes simply because younger workers are at the beginning of their careers. Sowell's core message is to resist the temptation to treat every gap in statistics as evidence of injustice. Look deeper for causes. The book also dives into fallacies in education, a topic especially relevant to students. Sowell challenges the belief that more money and more degrees automatically lead to better educational outcomes. He points out that while the U.S. has dramatically increased spending on public schools over the years, academic performance has often remained stagnant. Likewise, the obsession with attending elite universities or accumulating degrees, what truly matters is what you learn and how you apply it. Sowell encourages students to pursue marketable skills and knowledge, not just credentials. He argues that too much of education today is focused on signaling intelligence rather than producing it. One of the most empowering chapters in the book deals with income mobility. A common belief is that people in poverty are stuck there, while the rich always stay rich. But Sowell shows that this is a misunderstanding of how income levels work over time. Many individuals who are in the bottom 20% of earners today will move up in later years through career advancement, entrepreneurship, or education. Similarly, many in the top 1% don't stay there permanently. Income levels can fluctuate with age, business cycles, or market shifts. This means that income brackets do not represent fixed classes of people, but changing stages in people's lives. For students, this is a powerful idea. You may start small, but your choices can move you upward. Another powerful theme in the book is the importance of trade-offs in economic thinking. Whether it's deciding on public policy, budgeting personal finances, or choosing a college major, Sowell reminds us that we can't have everything. Every choice comes with a cost, an opportunity lost elsewhere. For example, when a city invests heavily in public housing, that money can't be spent on education or infrastructure. When you choose to study one subject, you're not studying another. Understanding trade-offs helps you think like an economist and make smarter decisions. Politicians and media often appeal to feelings, especially when discussing inequality or poverty, but as Sowell warns, the first lesson of economics is scarcity. The first lesson of politics is to ignore the first lesson of economics. In other words, many popular economic solutions ignore reality and create unintended consequences. For example, minimum wage laws may sound like a way to help the poor, but they can also increase unemployment among young or unskilled workers by making them too expensive to hire. In the closing chapters, Sowell critiques the misuse of statistics and the failure of intellectuals to think practically. He argues that many solutions proposed by economists or social theorists sound great on paper, but fail when tested in real life. His approach is refreshingly grounded in reality. Judge policies not by their intentions, but by their results. Final thoughts. Thomas Sowell's Economic Facts and Fallacies is not just an economics book, it's a critical thinking manual. It teaches students to question what they're told, to dig deeper than headlines, and to see the economy as a complex, interconnected system, not a simple battle between rich and poor. For anyone looking to build wealth, succeed in a career, or understand how the world really works, this book is a must-read. It doesn't tell you what to think, it teaches you how to think. And that's one of the most valuable skills you can have. Quote number 1, if you want to help the poor, don't just feel good, do good. And to do good, you must first know what works. Quote number 2, the real problem is not what we don't know, it's what we know that isn't so. Quote number 3, education is not magic, it is not money, it is not even college degrees, it is what is learned that matters.